Friends, Greg Newmaster coming at you again with an action figure modification video for Thundercats Ultimates Lion-O from Super 7. So if you're as big of a Thundercats fan as I am, Lion-O's probably your favorite character on the show. He's one of my favorite characters of all time. And the introduction to the Thundercats cartoon is probably the best animated introduction to a cartoon show I've ever seen. It's just phenomenal. It's dynamic, it's electric, the music is fantastic, the animation is sharp and crisp. It is the intro of all intros that every show should live up to. And that's just a testament to the awesomeness of Japanese anime. That being said, I'm a huge toy collector, obviously. I love Thundercats. And I want my figures to mimic the show as much as possible, especially when you're a collector and you're paying a pretty hefty price for a collector's figure that promises articulation, accessories, great paint job, and so on and so forth. So I gotta hand it to Super 7. I'm very thankful, very, very thankful that they took on the toy line from Mattel and they kept it going, and we finally have a full team of Thundercats, and it's amazing. However, I have a few critiques and things that I personally wanted, and if Super 7 ever sees this video and you decide to make a true Ultimate Lion-O, I hope you take these suggestions and add this to the figure. So this video today is based on the claw shield and the short sword modification. So I want to begin by saying that when we got the original claw shield for Lion-O, it was fantastic because he came with this claw shield. And it was cartoon accurate. And the difference is it has the pin on the inside, right? So instead of it covering his hand and just slipping on like a glove or a gauntlet, you had to port it in. Now, the original Matty Collector Lion-O claw shield looked like this. It was furry, stylized. I really appreciated it, but it was not cartoon accurate like this one. So this was an improvement by Super 7. However, what Matty Collector Mattel did originally is that you could store the short sword in the claw shield. They made a perfect divot with a hole. I don't know if you all can see that on camera, but there's a hole in there, and the short sword fits in there nicely, like so. And then the assumption is that when you receive the new cartoon accurate claw shield, that the short sword would be able to fit. And alas, it did not. It had the groove on the inside, but the short sword would only go down that far. So what did I have to do? I took out my power tools and I drilled a hole, and then that was the first modification, is that I could put the short sword in the glove, in the claw shield, like it was supposed to be. Now that was a very simple thing that Super 7 could have done, but they didn't, and it was pretty annoying. So this is the Matty Collector. Let's see if I can get that on there. So this way, if you want to display your Lion-O, you can pop the short sword in just like so. And notice the difference here with the Sword of Omens. It's a very fat blade. They really stepped up their game, and they keep getting better and better. This is the Hook Mountain Lion-O, but look at the logo. It looks great. It looks show accurate, minus the blade. The blade is not that ivory white, which it should be. So they're almost there. Almost have it, Super 7. So anyhow, that was the first modification I made with the claw shield and the short sword. Now, the next thing that frustrated me is that when we got Mirror Lion-O, which was a pinless figure, which was a step in the right direction, another step up, which was awesome, he came with various claw shields. One looking like this, like Pumra's. It was a closed-fisted claw shield. However, in Pumra's, it is hollowed out and it's drilled out, which is wonderful. And because it's drilled out, you could slip it right over the hand, which makes it fun and easy, and that's a great play feature. It slips right over the hand on Pumra. So I assumed, and I'm sure a lot of people did as well, that when you got the Mirror Lion-O, that it would in fact have a hollowed out fisted claw shield like this. And then you could store the short sword of omens in it like so. But it didn't. It did not. It was a deception. And it had a pin in it just like that. Just like every other claw shield. Which was really strange and weird. And I'm not sure why they would put a pin in it. Because that's another claw shield that they had already made. They already had the mold. I don't know why they chose to put a pin in it. So that frustrated me. So granted, this is the original Wave 1 Lion-O. He didn't come with the fisted claw shield, but Mirror Lion-O did. So the first modification I did is I drilled it out. And this took great effort. So I drilled out the claw shield so it could slip over his hand just like so. And it slips over his hand, and then you can take the short sword and you can place it in the claw shield just like so. And there you have it. So the short sword can go in the fisted claw shield. Another issue that I know this would probably be challenging and maybe a little bit expensive for Super 7. But we're talking about Lion-O here, and we're paying up to like $55 to $75 for these collector's figures. Now, Matty Collector, when they originally did the first Lion-O, now Lion-O, sorry about that. Now, Lion-O had a tendency to hang, he would basically stick the claw shield onto his thigh, like so. So how did Matty Collector solve that problem, and then eventually Super 7, is they put a little pin, and then there's a storage claw shield that you get, but he cannot wear it. So it comes like so. It just has a hole for the sword. It's like a sheath for the sword. And you can put it in, and then you can hang it from his hip. Now, I thought this was an easy fix. So, besides hollowing out the fisted claw shield, I added a magnet to it. I took a drill bit. I bought these magnets on eBay. There's many different kinds. I got a huge pack for, I think it was like $8 or something. The magnets are very strong. And I drilled a small indentation into his thigh. And then after hollowing out the claw shield, I drilled another small hole, not going all the way through into the claw shield. And there you have it, just like the TV show. Magnetized claw shield that sticks right to his thigh. You have full movement, you don't have any issues, and it goes on the thigh just like so. Now, another problem I faced when I was doing this is, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so you want to store, the purpose of the claw shield is it is the sheath for the short sword of omens. So you don't want to just drop it in like so and it just flops around like that. So I decided I would take, there's a little piece of duct tape in there. I glued the duct tape in. I reinforced it on both sides. And this way you can secure the short sword in the claw shield. Like so. And just like the TV show, magnetized claw shield. And there you have it. Now, I did this not only to the closed-fisted claw shield, but I did it to the open-fisted claw shield as well, or the open-handed claw shield. Now, this one was a little bit more challenging because I didn't have as much plastic to work with. This is the first one I did, and I caused a little bit of damage on the inside. I was able to add the magnet. I was able to add the little pocket for the short sword on the inside. And as you can see, you can slip this in just like so. And it's nice and secure, and it's in the open claw shield. And then you have a magnet as well, and it looks great. Lion-O can wear the claw shield and the Sword of Omens on his hips. I mean, look at how strong this is. This is very powerful magnets. Goes on just like so. It's not going to fall off. It would take great effort to make it to fall off, and you're probably going to display it anyhow. But yeah, that was a problem that I wanted to solve. So how did I do this? And I want you guys to see too what it looks like on. This is the open-handed claw shield. It slips right on. Looks like that. That's what it looks like on the inside. So I'm probably going to try and fix this. Glue some cloth on the inside, something really thin, and then paint it over and perfect it. But these are just something like nice things that Super 7 could have done originally, so I didn't have to go to the effort. You know, that to me that would have justified the price in the collector's item. But as you can see too, now the short sword can fit in the claw shield. I typically like to keep it on his hand anyhow, and then you can pop the you know, magnetic one on the hip. So lots of different options. So how did I do this? Step one is I boiled each claw shield on and off for 2 minutes, because this is a very, very hard plastic. So I had to boil this in boiling hot water. I held it in there with tongs for 2 minutes. I would take it out. I used a 1/2 inch drill bit, a 1/4 inch drill bit, and a 3/8 drill bit. So I started with the 3/8 because there was already a hole there. So I boiled it, pulled the pin out, used the first hole that was already made a smaller hole, and then eventually just kept making it bigger and bigger and bigger. So trial and error. So the issue is it kept ripping, you know, with this flatter claw shield with the open hand, it ripped out the inside a little bit, which is okay. It's not that big of a deal to me. But the biggest issue is I had to get it so I could slide it off the hand without it pulling this hand off. So you have to mold the hand a little bit too. I had to shave a little bit off the hand so it comes off perfectly. But you can pull the claw shield on and off, both of them, on and off, on and off. It looks great, and like I said, pops right onto the hip with a magnet. So if you're adventurous, if you're industrious, if you want Lion-O to be accurate, you can do what I did. So like I said, first I had to boil it for 2 to 3 minutes at a time. Keep pulling it in, pulling it out, drilling it, make that plastic really nice and soft. Then drilled the holes out. Had to make sure that the hand would mold and fit too. Then eventually I used 100 grit sandpaper, rolled it up into like a pencil, and just really smoothed it in on the inside. And then to make sure that the short sword stayed in there, I took a pair of pliers and an X-Acto knife, cut up some duct tape, glued the duct tape inside, so the sword is not flopping around, and you have a little bit of movement, and it's just like the show. And you can swap them in and out with a magnet. Nice little magnets I found on Amazon. You can choose whatever size you want. I chose a pretty small size. In the images, it shows what they look like compared to a penny. And I may paint his hip there. I don't know if it's going to mess with the magnet at all, but I may paint that, and it'll be perfect. But this is something I would want Super 7 to strive for. Fix the colors. Like, for instance, this should be like a really nice white. This is a gray. You know, pinless joints on the Lion-O. Double jointed knees. I would love double jointed knees on Lion-O. The original Lion-O did not have this vertical hinge. This is from Jaga. I stole it from him because I felt like Jaga didn't need this at the time, anyhow. And then the magnetic claw shields. We should get all the claw shields that every Lion-O has had. The hollowed one out that Pumra had, and add magnets to them. And then we have the perfect Lion-O action figure. So that is my claw shield modification video. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, and God bless you all. Peace.